And God told him, sin is crouching at your door. You must master it. So he even got a warning from God, but he said, and for all you people who make a joke out of that, oh, it's just a joke, demon possession, demons, and Jesus casting out all these demons while he was on the earth. Oh, that's about Bible stuff. This Bible stuff makes perfect sense to me.
Please do not forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload next. The world of reality television, hunting enthusiasts, and faithful believers mourns the loss of Phil Robertson, the rugged patriarch of the hit A&E series Duck Dynasty, who passed away at the age of 79. Known for his distinctive beard, sharp wit, and unapologetic faith, Phil's journey from a small-town teacher and fisherman to a television icon and business mogul captivated millions. His death, announced on Sunday, May 25th, marks the end of an era for a man whose life was as colorful and complex as the Louisiana bayous he called home. Yet even in his passing, his family and fans celebrate a legacy built on resilience, redemption, and an unwavering commitment to sharing the gospel. Phil Robertson's story is one of transformation. Born into humble beginnings, he overcame personal struggles to build a family, a business, and a platform that reached far beyond the duck blinds of West Monroe, Louisiana. His invention of the Duck Commander duck call laid the foundation for a multi-million-dollar empire, while Duck Dynasty turned his family into household names. Through it all, his faith remained the heartbeat of his life, a guiding force that shaped his decisions, his relationships, and his public persona. As the world reflects on his contributions, Phil Robertson leaves behind a legacy that continues to inspire, even as his family prepares to carry his torch into the future. The news of Phil Robertson's passing came through a heartfelt post on Facebook by his daughter-in-law Corey Robertson, wife of Willie Robertson. On Sunday, Corey shared a message that captured both the sorrow of loss and the joy of celebration. "We celebrate today that our father, husband, and grandfather, Phil Robertson, is now with the Lord," she wrote. Quoting the Apostle Paul from 1 Thessalonians 4 verses 13 to 14, she added, "You do not grieve like those who have no hope. For we believe that Jesus died and rose again, and so we believe that God will bring with Jesus those who have fallen asleep in him." The words reflected Phil's lifelong mantra of hope and faith, a message he shared with family, friends, and fans alike. Corey's post went on to express gratitude for the outpouring of support from those whose lives Phil had touched. "Thank you for the love and prayers of so many whose lives have been impacted by his life saved by grace, his bold faith, and by his desire to tell everyone who would listen the good news of Jesus," she continued. "We are grateful for his life on earth and will continue the legacy of love for God and love for others until we see him again." The family announced that a private memorial service would be held initially, with plans for a public celebration of Phil's life to be shared soon. The announcement painted a picture of a man deeply loved and revered, whose influence extended far beyond his immediate circle. The Robertson family's response was emblematic of their unity and strength, qualities that had endeared them to viewers during Duck Dynasty's run. Phil's sons, Alan, Jace, Willie, and Jep, along with his wife, Miss Kay, and their extended family, stood together in mourning and celebration. For them, Phil was not just a television star or a business founder. He was a father, a husband, and a spiritual leader whose lessons would guide them long after his departure. Phil Robertson's final years were marked by a battle with Alzheimer's disease, a diagnosis the family revealed in December 2024 on their podcast, Unashamed with the Robertson Family. The announcement came as a shock to fans who had followed Phil's robust presence on screen, where his energy and humor belied any signs of frailty. On the podcast, the family spoke candidly about the challenges of watching their patriarch face a progressive illness that slowly eroded his memory and physical strength. Yet they emphasized his resilience, noting that even as Alzheimer's took its toll, Phil's spirit remained unbroken. The diagnosis marked the beginning of a difficult chapter for the Robertsons. Phil, once a towering figure known for his sharp mind and quick quips, began to withdraw from public life as his condition worsened. The family rallied around him, providing care and support while cherishing the moments they had left. "Dad reminded us to keep the faith, no matter what," Jace Robertson said in a podcast episode shortly after the diagnosis was made public. Even when he couldn't find the words, his eyes told us he was still fighting. Phil's health struggles were not the first time the family faced adversity. Earlier in the year, his wife, Miss Kay, was hospitalized after a fall, an incident that tested their resolve. Through it all, Phil's faith provided an anchor. He had often spoken of his belief in eternal life, a conviction that brought comfort to his loved ones as they navigated his decline. Phil didn't fear death, Willie Robertson later reflected. He saw it as the next step in his journey with God. For a man who had faced countless challenges in his 79 years, Alzheimer's was simply one more trial to endure with grace. Before the cameras and the fame, Phil Robertson was a man of modest means, carving out a living in the rural South. Born on April 24, 1946, in Vivian, Louisiana, he grew up in a large family with little wealth but plenty of grit. Through attending Louisiana Tech University, where he played football as a quarterback, Phil chose a simpler path over a potential sports career. He worked as a teacher and a commercial fisherman, roles that reflected his love for education and the outdoors. But it was his ingenuity as a hunter that would change his life, and his family's, forever. In 1972, Phil invented the Duck Commander duck call, a device designed to mimic the sound of a duck with uncanny precision. Frustrated with the quality of existing calls, he crafted his own in a shed behind his home, using cedar wood and a hands-on approach. What began as a personal project quickly gained traction among fellow hunters, who praised its authenticity and effectiveness. "I wanted a call that sounded like a duck, not a kazoo," Phil once said, a quip that underscored his practical approach to problem-solving. The Duck Commander business grew steadily, fueled by Phil's determination and his family's involvement. His wife, Kay, managed the books, while his sons pitched in as they grew older. By the 1990s, the company had expanded its product line to include hunting gear and apparel, transforming from a backyard operation into a national brand. When Willie Robertson took over as CEO, he propelled Duck Commander into a multi-million-dollar enterprise, capitalizing on the growing popularity of outdoor recreation. Yet, Phil remained the heart of the business, a symbol of its origins and its ethos. Phil's success was not without its roots in hardship. In his early years, he struggled with alcoholism and a wild lifestyle, a period he later described as his dark days. His conversion to Christianity in his late 20s marked a turning point, redirecting his energy toward his family and his work. The Duck Commander call became more than a product. It was a testament to his redemption, a tangible reminder of how faith had reshaped his life. "Every call I made was a prayer of thanks," he once said, reflecting on the business's humble beginnings. The Robertson family's leap to stardom came in 2012 with the premiere of Duck Dynasty on A&E. The show, pitched as a sitcom-style reality series, followed the daily lives of Phil, his brother C, and his sons as they ran the Duck Commander business. What set it apart was its authenticity, a blend of humor, family values, and outdoor adventures that resonated with viewers across America. Phil, with his grizzled beard and no-nonsense demeanor, emerged as the show's breakout star, dispensing wisdom and one-liners with equal ease. By 2013, Duck Dynasty had become the most-watched non-fiction cable series in history, drawing over 11 million viewers at its peak. Episodes often featured hunting expeditions, family gatherings, and lighthearted pranks, all underscored by Phil's storytelling and his brother C's eccentric charm. The show's appeal lay in its simplicity. It offered a glimpse into a tight-knit family that worked hard, played hard, and prayed hard. "We didn't set out to be famous," Phil said in a 2013 interview. "We just wanted to show folks how we live." The success spawned a merchandising empire, from duck calls and t-shirts to books and a Christmas album titled Duck the Halls. The Robertsons became cultural icons, their bearded faces plastered on billboards and magazine covers. Yet Phil remained grounded, often retreating to the woods or his Bible when the spotlight grew too bright. For him, the show was a platform to share his faith, a mission he pursued with every episode. The show's meteoric rise was not without turbulence. In December 2013, Phil found himself at the center of a national controversy after an interview with GQ magazine. Asked about his views on sin, he paraphrased the Bible, stating that homosexuality was among behaviors he considered sinful. The remarks ignited a firestorm, with critics accusing him of intolerance and supporters defending his right to free speech. A&E suspended Phil from the show, citing a breach of their values. The backlash was swift and fierce. Fans launched petitions and social media campaigns, arguing that Phil's suspension was an attack on his religious beliefs. "If you can't handle my faith, that's your problem, not mine," Phil said in response, standing firm in his convictions. After 9 days, A&E reversed the suspension, citing the show's popularity and the family's importance to its lineup. The incident highlighted the cultural divide in America, with Phil emerging as a polarizing yet enduring figure. Phil Robertson's legacy is multifaceted, encompassing his contributions to business, television, and faith. The Duck Commander brand remains a testament to his ingenuity, a company that turned a simple idea into a household name. Duck Dynasty, meanwhile, reshaped reality television, proving that rural, faith-based stories could captivate a mainstream audience. "Phil showed us that you don't have to be from Hollywood to make it big," said a longtime fan on social media, echoing the sentiments of many. His faith, however, was his greatest legacy. Phil's candidness about his conversion and his willingness to share his testimony inspired countless viewers to explore their own spirituality. The family's podcast, Unashamed, launched in 2018, became a continuation of that mission, offering discussions on faith, family, and redemption. "Dad's goal was to point people to Jesus," Alan Robertson said in a recent episode. "That's what drove him every day." Phil's influence extended to his community as well. In West Monroe, he was known for his generosity, often hosting hunting trips for local youth or speaking at churches. His down-to-earth nature endeared him to those who knew him personally, even as his fame grew. "He was just Phil, same guy whether the cameras were on or off," a neighbor recalled. Even in his absence, Phil's story continues to unfold. This summer, A&E will air Duck Dynasty, Revival, a new iteration of the show starring Corey and Willie Robertson. While Phil's declining health prevented his participation, the series promises to carry forward the family's signature blend of humor and heart. "It's bittersweet," Willie said in a press release. "Dad won't be there, but his spirit will be in every frame." Additionally, the 2023 film The Blind, the true story of the Robertson family, offers a cinematic look at Phil's life. Directed by Andrew Hyatt, the movie chronicles his early struggles with addiction, his marriage decay, and his path to faith. Critics praised its raw honesty, with audiences noting its emotional resonance. "It's Phil's story unfiltered," Kay said at the premiere. "He wanted people to see the messy parts because that's where God showed up." Phil's personal life was as rich and layered as his public one. He married his high school sweetheart, Marcia Kay Carraway, known as Miss Kay, in 1966, beginning a partnership that weathered decades of trials and triumphs. Together, they raised 4 sons: Alan, a pastor; Jace, a hunter and businessman; Willie, the CEO of Duck Commander; and Jep, a filmmaker and outdoorsman. Couple's love story, marked by Phil's past indiscretions and their shared faith, was a recurring theme on Duck Dynasty. In 2020, Phil learned he had a daughter, Phyllis, from an extramarital relationship in the 1970s. The revelation, shared on the Unashamed podcast, was met with grace by the family. Phyllis was welcomed into the fold, expanding the Robertson clan to include 16 grandchildren and several great-grandchildren. "Family's messy sometimes," Phil said at the time, "but God's grace covers it all." Miss Kay, Phil's rock for over 5 decades, faced her own challenges in recent years. Her hospitalization earlier this year after a fall underscored the couple's resilience. Through it all, Phil remained her steadfast partner, a role he cherished above all others. "Kay's my best catch," he often said, a nod to their enduring bond. Phil Robertson's life was a remarkable tapestry of faith, family, and perseverance. From his invention of the Duck Commander call to his rise as a reality TV star, he remained true to his roots and his beliefs. His death at 79 closes a chapter, but his legacy lives on through his family, his business, and the millions who found inspiration in his story. As the Robertsons prepare to honor him publicly, they do so with the hope he instilled in them, a hope rooted in the promise of redemption and eternal life. Phil Robertson was larger than life, but he lived it simply, Corey wrote in her tribute. He loved God, loved us, and loved sharing that love with the world. For a man who turned a duck call into a dynasty, his greatest achievement was the lives he touched along the way. As fans and family alike bid farewell, they do so with gratitude for a patriarch whose voice, though silenced on earth, echoes on in the hearts of those he left behind. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to daily updates and never miss a video.